Hi, welcome to My Messy Fingers. I'm Charlie. I am making an 8x8 folio from leftover papers that I had when I made an 8x8 full album. I had sufficient amount of paper left over, so like I said, I'm putting it into a folio. I've already posted the tutorial on how to make the folio itself. But this folio is the Beach is Calling from Graphic 45. And I want to thank Scrap and Create for having sent this collection to me. They sent me the whole bundle, the 12x12, both core, the 12x12 patterns, and then the core collection on the 8x8. Plus I got the stickers, I got the ephemera, I got the tags and chipboard pieces, and I also got some of the rub-ons, the ribbon, and I even got some little brass bling, which I've just about used a lot of this up. But what I have left, I'm going to create this folio. I think it would be a great way to use the paper. So this is what I have for the front of the album, listen to me, for the front of the folio. Now, what I'm using for the front are pieces off the 12x12 of this version. And I'm using a considerable portion of this because on the reverse side, I'm using it, I'll show you here in a second. So let me just stay with the front. So off the front, I cut out this piece and I cut out the surfboard and the paddle. And then I cut out one of the postage stamps, but this came from a different sheet because you're going to need a whole bunch of what's left here. And then this, Eat, Sleep, Beach, Repeat, is this right here off the bottom. So I'm using this, and then I'm using a whole bunch of this reverse side. What I've done here for the front, oh, and I have a little brass, I'm putting on a little shovel that's going to go right here. Now on the front of this, I've used some rub-ons and I've put them strategically here so that when this main piece goes down, and I'm putting this down somewhat at a slant because controlled placing doesn't need to happen all the time. So I'm putting this in here at a nice little slant. And then I fussy cut this out, backed it on some foam backing, foam pop-ups, and it's just going to kind of come in here and sit. So you can see how the rub-ons are just kind of showing up. They're not real prominent, but they give some background. And then I took one of the ephemera pieces, the swimsuit, popped it up on some pop-ups. I'm going to place it right there. And then I fussy cut that out. So this is going to go here. I am going to go straight across with this because then it keeps the eye moving throughout the front. And then I fussy cut out and mounted one of the stamps, which will go up here. And then this little guy will go right here. So starting with this piece, this is, like I said, it's an 8x8 album. So you're going to trim it down to where there's about 1/8 of an inch showing on the edges. I did round the corners to give it a softer look. So you'll want to round the corners on the bottom of this piece. And then when I made the main album, I backed the entire thing using some gold cardstock, but I only had one sheet left. So I thought what I would do is I'm going to back this main feature onto some cardstock. So you'll cut this out and then you'll cut your cardstock so that it cuts to fit so that you've got about 1/8 of an inch on all the way around. So that's the front of it. The back of the album, I am using the same sheet as the front. These are from your 8x8 collections. And then from the sticker sheets, there from the main album, I had some leftover stickers, and so I'm using those here across the bottom. This will go on the back. Now for the sides, this is where you get into all the extra from the large 12 by 12, the extra. You're going to cut 4 pieces that will measure 7 7/8 in length, and then 7/8 of an inch across. And these are going to be your side panel covers. Okay? So I am ready to put this together. So we're going to start with the front. It's always the fun piece because that's what creates your album. So let's get this little piece glued together before I lose it. Now you're going to see that it's going to look like I made a miscalculation in cutting. Well, I did. But I'm not worried about it because it's going to get tucked underneath anyway. So what was important was to have it showing here because it's going to tuck under here. Okay. Now I'm going to glue this on. It's not that big of a piece that it can't be glued. If you want to tape it on, go for it. Slide that right in there. Give it a good burnish. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually tape the cardstock. So I'm going to go across here. And I have this great tool that's brand new to me. I usually use my scissors to cut this, but then my scissors were getting all gooey and gummy, and Julie at Scrap and Create told me about this cool tool that they have, and she sent me one, and I just adore it. But it has 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch markers, but it's a tape and tear tool. So I'll put that link, if you want one, I'll put that link in the description field. It's kind of fun to have. It makes it so much easier, and I'm not having to clean my scissors off anymore. Okay, and I'm going to run one down the middle because I want it to stay on this, so it's not, popping up. So after you do your rub-ons, and I think maybe you can kind of see where I put them. Or what you can do is make this main piece, place it how you want it to be placed, and then go in and slide the rub-on underneath of it, lift it, and then finish your rub-on. So what I mean by that is you're going to come in here. If you want it straight, make it straight, but I'm coming in at an angle. But you can take the rub-on, figure out where you want it, and come in underneath of it, and then take this away, and then you can rub this on. That's what I did. So I'm just going to put this on here, like so. And then I'm going to take all the tape off the back of this foam pieces. I did put this on, I backed it on some blue cardstock so it had a little bit of substance to it. I didn't want it real thin and flimsy, so putting it on blue cardstock, and I retrimmed around it, and I inked, kind of want this like this, and I used Distress Ink by Tim Holtz. It's called Faded Jeans. I felt that it was the best that matched the color in this. Anything else I looked at was way too bright. And then the swimsuit, I've got on some pop-ups. And I just kind of want to put it right here on the surfboard. And then I used some horrible pop-ups on the back of this, so if you'll bear with me, I've got to get them off. I may just rip them off and use something else. I should know better. It's a terrible brand. I'm not messing with this. I apologize. This is me being frustrated. I tell you, I will never buy this stuff again. In fact, I think I'm just going to throw it away. And I know your minds are curious and you want to know what it is. It's this. So I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. In the garbage. There, I've had my temper tantrum. I apologize. So I'm going to come in here. These are, I wish I had bigger ones. These are the best pop-ups, this brand of them. What is this? This is 3D foam squares. It is so easy to get their foam their backings off. I mean, look at this. So there, I've disparaged one company and promoted another. So I want this just a little bit off center. I want the eye to continue to flow. And I just realized that this was going to tuck up underneath here, and I glued this down, but that's an easy fix because I can come in here with a tad smidgen of undo, lift that tape, and then I can put this where I wanted it to go. And now, this little guy, there's not much surface on this, so I played around with it, and it's the top. So if you got the brass pieces, you know, if you order this from Scrap and Create, she'll send you some little brass trinkets to play with. So if you did, and you have this little shovel, the best place to put your glue, and I'm using Glossy Accents, is here at the very tip of the shovel and then on these little round knobs. Nothing else hits the paper. Oh, don't move. Okay. Stop it. So I'm going to need to let that sit. So I'm going to set this aside while that glue sets up. And I'm going to work on the back. So let's go to the back. I've already put my tape on. And yes, I used my tape and tear tool. It has become my new friend. Okay, and then we're going to just kind of slide this right in there. Oh, I just went crooked. Dad blast it. I'm sorry. I'm one of these that if I see that something's crooked, I've got to go in and, if I can, I've got to go in and fix it. And I just saw that this did that. I'm so sorry. I am really deeply sorry. Okay, let's see if we can reset this. This is a bit humbling and embarrassing. All right, let's try this again. It's a good thing that undo dries fairly quickly. I think if I do this from down here where I can see what I'm doing, And I hope I'm not off screen too awfully bad. Oh, much better fit, I think. Okay, I'm not taking it up again. I have a little bit more of an edge on the top than I want, but I'm not taking it up again. All right, from the sticker sheet, from this sheet, there were some stickers, and I used up, I'm missing one. Well, it's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I used up a good portion of this when I made the big album. So this is what was left over. So that's what I'm putting here. And I'm just going to glue these in place. Boy, this tutorial just got off to a bad start. I feel bad. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm going to kind of set that right there. And then glue this one, and I'm going to center it right above it. So that's what's going to happen there on the back. Now I'm going to, these are the 4 strips that we're going to be using to cover the ends. So I am going to glue them in place. Would help if I got back in frame for you. And then I'm just going to slide it on there, get rid of this excess glue. Okay, and now we'll do the next one. Sorry, I have too much on one end. There we go. And then the next one. This will give that. If the glossy accents doesn't hold that in place, I'll use some hot glue. It's just that I like the glossy accents because it doesn't leave a big gluey mess. I don't know, me and hot glue. All right, we've got one left. Now, if you followed the tutorial on how to make the album itself, I did not mention in it that I rounded the corners because that is specific to this album. So all of your pages, if you want, round the corners. You can leave them square, whichever your preference is. And the other thing in the album, this is where we set the magnets. This flap comes up to the top. But I noticed that the sides were kind of doing this business. So I squared them up and I put a magnet right there. So that helps to keep these on the square. Okay. Now, if that is setting up, I already have my tape on because I knew I was going to deal with some bumpy elements. So let's get the tape off. That was weird. And then we'll get this centered on here. And I'm going to center this looking at it from the bottom. I want to make sure my sides are even and that I have the same amount of coverage all the way around. I have a tape down the center, so I'm making sure that it's in there good. Okay, so here is your outside build. We've got our ends, top and bottom, all covered, and this was all done off one sheet, and then these are 2 sheets out of your 8x8. So the next video, we'll be working on some of the inside features. I'll see you then.